Greetings from Texas. We are going to do our last cast iron Wednesday for the month of April, which is the pasta challenge, and we are going to do Japanese ramen noodle soup. To make true Japanese ramen is a laborious process. It's basically 3 steps. Making the broth, which is the most laborious thing. That usually takes 6 to 8 hours, but we're going to use this concentrate. So for each bottle of this concentrate, which I got off of Amazon, you're going to add 3/4 of a cup of water or broth. In this case, we're going to use chicken broth. So this is pork tonkatsu, which is a pork-based broth. So we're going to use 2 bottles of this and a 1.5 cups of the broth. For ingredients, we have ramen eggs. This is another thing that takes at least a day or 2 to make. They're soft cooked eggs, and they're marinated to get their distinctive color and flavor overnight. I'm marinating these in a Japanese soup base called meme, and this you can make all kinds of different products with it, and it gives you the ratios of water to this on the back. Anyway, these have been soft cooked, peeled, and have been soaking for a couple hours. For our protein ingredients, we have shrimp balls. Got these at, so they're just basically like meatballs, but with shrimp. And then this is a Japanese product. This is called tempura. Basically, it's a tempura fried fish cake, and we'll slice that up and that will go in. You'll see how that works. I have 1 medium carrot, and I just used a peeler to get these thin slices. We got 1 fresh ear of corn. We're going to shuck that. We have some thinly sliced garlic. We have our green onion for garlic, or garnish. We have thinly sliced onion. That's 1 medium white onion, and we have 4 small portobello mushrooms sliced thin. So first off, we're going to prepare the vegetables. Then we're going to add the broth to it, get the broth going, and the noodles are going to get cooked separately, and you'll see how that's going to get assembled for the final presentation. I got everything pretty much done. Let's go ahead and shuck our corn. Now, in traditional Japanese ramen, the noodles are one of the most important things. These are real Japanese ramen noodles. You know, if you go to a real Japanese ramen shop, they're going to be made fresh, but you're going to want to use these as a substitute. You can get in the deli section fresh vermicelli, the stuff that's doughy. That's usually in your deli section, refrigerated, and you can use that. It's a good substitute for Japanese ramen noodles. And we're going to use 2 bundles of this. So we'll have about 5 cups of broth, 2 sticks of that, 2 ramen eggs. Yeah. Let's prepare our fish cake and shrimp balls. So this fish cake here is basically already cut, so we're gonna all right, before we get our broth going, we're gonna go ahead and cook our vegetables. We're just gonna get a little bit of oil in our cast iron Dutch oven here. Until the end. All right, and our ramen noodles are going to go in. Normally you cook them for 4 minutes. But what we're going to do is cook them for 3 minutes and then take it off the heat and let it sit. And by the time the broth is done, the noodles will be perfect. Normally you would cook these drain them. You can keep them in cold water so to prevent them from sticking. You just don't want to overcook them. You don't want to have a big clump of noodles because they're going to get heated back up with the broth. So we're going to set those for 3 minutes. Okay, it's about 2 minutes. We're going to add our carrots and corn. And we're going to toss those for about a minute, and we'll add our garlic. Okay, our vegetables have been tossed around for a minute. Let's go ahead and add our garlic. And we'll toss this around for another minute. Let's get our noodles kind of turned down. And we'll come back. They will be done in 1 minute. Okay, the noodles have been cooking for 3 minutes, and we're going to take them off, and they're going to carry over cook. And that way our timing will be down. So now we're going to add our shrimp balls. Get those tossed around. And let's add our broth concentrate. So for each one of these, which is 12 ounces, you're going to add 3/4 of a cup of broth or water. Since we're using 2, let's turn our heat up, get that going. Okay, and now we're going to add 1.5 cups of our chicken stock, chicken broth. Now we're going to bring this up until it starts bubbling. All right, we're going to take our ramen eggs, get them ready. Okay, so our broth is done. Let's go ahead and get everything prepped. One garnish I forgot is the nori. And this is, if you like sushi, this is seaweed. Basically pressed seaweed, and we're gonna just cut it. Okay, let's build our ramen. So we're gonna take our noodles. And they're nice and firm, they're not sticking, they're not overcooked. Broth. And that's going to go over the noodles. And next comes our tempura fish cake. Take our seaweed. We have our ramen egg. We have our green onion. This is furikake. Now it's just going to add a little bit of sesame seed. And when you're eating this stuff, you can use the spoon to kind of help support things. That's good. Let's try one of these shrimp balls. Oh, I love those. All right, folks. That's it. This is the last Cast Iron April Challenge pasta. I wonder what's in store for next month.